In the endless galaxy full of stars and empires there was always war and conflict. Many alien races fought for power and control. They built fleets, weapons, and alliances. But in the middle of all this chaos, a strange rumor began to spread from one corner of space to another. It was whispered in the dark halls of alien markets, in the secret chambers of war councils, and inside the minds of leaders who feared the unknown. The rumor spoke of Earth, a small blue planet at the edge of the galaxy. Many believed Earth to be weak, a place of primitive humans who had no real technology compared to mighty empires. For centuries humans were ignored, treated as children in a galaxy of giants. But now, the rumor said something different. It claimed that Earth was hiding a fleet, not an ordinary fleet but one so powerful that it could destroy entire armadas within minutes. Some said it was a ghost story, a tale made by smugglers to scare fools. Others swore they had seen it with their own eyes. A merchant ship captain told a story of how a human vessel appeared from nowhere and destroyed 3 pirate cruisers with a single strike. He claimed the ship vanished into the dark before anyone could react. His crew confirmed the same, their eyes shaking with fear as they spoke. When asked if it was possible that they only saw a trick or an illusion, they refused. "It was no trick," the captain whispered. "It was the human fleet." The galaxy laughed. The rulers of great empires mocked the idea. Humans? A super fleet? Impossible. They can barely reach beyond their own star system. But in the silence of their war rooms, some leaders did not laugh. They remembered how humanity had survived before. History told stories of humans fighting against impossible odds and still winning. On 1,000 battlefields of the past, humans had shown a strange ability to rise when crushed, to strike when cornered, and to never surrender. Now the rumor made them question, what if Earth really had something hidden? Across the stars, fear began to grow. The Council of Zorith, the largest alien empire, gathered to discuss. Their spies reported strange energy readings near Earth. Ships that went close to the human system sometimes disappeared without a trace. One scout ship managed to send a broken signal before vanishing. The message was short, full of static, but one line was clear: "They are ready." The words made the council silent. No one wanted to admit fear, but unease spread across their faces. "If the humans truly have a fleet," one general said slowly, "then the balance of power in this galaxy will change forever." Others disagreed. They called it lies, tricks, propaganda. But the seed of doubt was already there. In hidden corners of the galaxy, smugglers and traders began to draw maps of safe paths, avoiding the human star system. They whispered to each other, "Do not go near Earth. It is not safe. The humans are watching." Some aliens who lived near human space told stranger stories. They spoke of massive shadows moving behind the moon, of cloaked ships larger than cities, of strange lights that appeared and vanished in the black void. No one had proof, but no one wanted to test it. Among the younger alien races, fear turned into excitement. They dreamed of seeing the human fleet with their own eyes. But among the older and wiser, there was only silence, for they knew how dangerous an unknown enemy could be. The rumor grew, traveling faster than any starship, carried in voices, in messages, and in secret warnings. Each time it was told, the story became bigger, scarier, more unbelievable. Yet deep inside, everyone wondered if it might be true. For if Earth had truly hidden its strength, if humans had been waiting for the right moment, then the galaxy was standing on the edge of something new. Something terrifying. The humans had always been underestimated. They were called weak, fragile, and small. But now, a whisper moved like fire through the stars. The galaxy feared one human fleet. And as the rumor spread, more and more began to ask the same question. If the humans are so weak, why does the thought of their hidden fleet make our hearts afraid? The galaxy waited as fear and curiosity grew stronger. Some rulers laughed at the rumor of the human fleet, while others began to send scouts closer to Earth to confirm the truth. From far away, Earth still looked weak and simple, just a blue planet circling a yellow star, with one moon that appeared quiet and lifeless. To the eyes of many, it was nothing special, nothing compared to the great capital worlds of the empires. Yet those who dared to travel closer felt something strange. Their sensors showed energy waves too strong for a primitive world, strange pulses hidden under the natural signals of the planet. Alien scouts flew near and tried to scan deeper, but the closer they came the more their systems began to fail. Data turned into static, computers shut down, and some ships even lost contact completely. The few who survived told stories of shadows moving on the surface of the moon, like giant shapes hidden behind its dark side. The reports reached the Great Council of Zoreth once again, and this time the voices inside the chamber were not mocking. One admiral slammed his clawed hand on the table and said humans are playing a clever trick, they are trying to scare the galaxy with illusions. But a spy master shook her head. She had received secret transmissions from informants near Earth, and what they described was not illusion. According to them, humans had built massive structures beneath their oceans and mountains, bases hidden from normal eyes, and even stranger things beyond the atmosphere. A few reckless smugglers who flew too close swore they saw enormous black ships rising silently from behind the moon, ships that made no sound and gave no signal, as if the void itself obeyed them. Most never returned, their ships simply vanished without a trace, leaving behind only fragments of messages filled with fear. One such message was found in a drifting escape pod. The alien inside had gone mad, repeating the same line again and again. The humans are watching. The humans are ready. When this report reached the alien leaders, silence filled the council. They could not deny that something was hidden there, something far greater than what humans were supposed to possess. The council debated whether to warn the other empires or to keep it secret, for if humans truly had such power then knowing too much could itself be dangerous. Meanwhile on Earth, humans continued to live their lives as if nothing was wrong. To the outside observer, the planet seemed normal, filled with cities, oceans, forests, and people going about daily tasks. But deep under the surface there were signs of unity never seen before in human history. Nations that once fought against each other had now become one, united in silence, hiding their progress from alien eyes. Secret bases on Earth's moon, on Mars, and even on floating stations beyond Pluto waited in the shadows. They carried weapons that no alien sensor could understand, built by minds that had combined ancient knowledge with new discoveries. For centuries humans had hidden their progress, pretending to be weak, allowing aliens to underestimate them. Now the question was how long this secret could stay hidden. On the edge of the human system an alien scout ship attempted to record evidence. The captain of the scout laughed at the fear of his crew, calling the human rumor nothing but a story. He ordered his ship closer to the dark side of the moon, ignoring the warnings of his own sensors. Then his crew saw it, a shape larger than their entire vessel slowly turning in the shadow. It was no mountain, no natural object, but a ship of enormous size, its surface black as night, glowing faintly with lines of strange energy. Before they could react, their systems shut down completely. The last message that left the scout ship was broken and weak, filled with static, but one line reached the nearest relay station. It's not a myth, they are ready. Then nothing. The ship never returned. The Empire of Zoreth pretended it was just another lost vessel, but whispers spread quickly among the outer colonies. Pilots refused to travel near Earth. Merchants began to change their routes. Even smugglers who once laughed at the rumors now avoided human space like a plague. Fear was growing, and it was unstoppable. For every rumor that spread, another piece of evidence seemed to appear, small but enough to keep the terror alive. The galaxy had always thought of humans as weak and fragile, yet now every shadow near their system looked like a threat, every signal seemed like a hidden warning. In the deepest halls of the Alien Council, one old leader finally spoke the truth that no one wanted to admit. He said, "We are not afraid of myths. We are afraid because deep inside we know the humans are capable of such things. They have always survived when they should not. They have always risen when they should fall. If they are hiding a fleet, then we are already too late." His words echoed in the silent chamber as the galaxy realized the shadow of Earth was not just a story but a growing fear, a fear that would soon demand an answer. The galaxy had grown restless with rumors and shadows, but the true test was yet to come. Some alien empires could not live with fear alone, they wanted proof, and so they decided to push the humans directly. The Council of Zoreth chose to send a small fleet of warships to the human system, not too many to start a full war but enough to show their power and to see if the whispers of a hidden human fleet were real. The admirals of Zoreth laughed as their ships prepared, certain that humans would either bow down or be crushed. Their fleet crossed the dark void, 10 destroyers and 2 heavy cruisers moving toward the blue planet with arrogant confidence. As they reached the edge of human space, they sent a message broadcast to Earth. The message was cold and commanding. This is the fleet of Zoreth. You are to surrender any hidden weapons and allow inspection of your world. If you resist, you will be destroyed. The galaxy listened as the message was repeated across open channels, waiting for Earth to reply. For long minutes there was silence, only the quiet hum of stars and static. The Zoreth commanders grew impatient, calling the humans cowards. Then finally a human voice answered, calm and steady. This is Earth. Leave our space or face consequences you cannot imagine. The alien commanders burst into laughter. To them, the words of humans were like children pretending to be soldiers. Without waiting, they ordered their fleet to advance. The ships moved toward the moon first, scanning for bases, preparing weapons. Their scanners picked up strange shadows, but they dismissed them as illusions. Then one destroyer fired a warning shot at the surface of Earth's moon, a blast of energy meant to scare. At that moment, everything changed. The space around them seemed to twist, like light itself was bending. Out of the shadows, a massive shape uncloaked. It was a human warship, but not like anything the galaxy had ever seen. It was larger than the Zoreth cruiser, its dark surface absorbing light, its hull glowing faintly with streams of energy. Before the aliens could react, the human ship locked onto one of the destroyers and in a single burst of silent power reduced it to burning fragments. Panic filled the alien fleet. They opened fire, but their blasts struck against invisible barriers that shimmered like glass and then vanished. The human warship did not answer with noise or fury. It moved with cold precision, each strike destroying one ship after another. The Zoreth commanders shouted orders, trying to regroup, but their voices trembled with fear. For the first time they realized the rumor was true. The humans were not weak. They were prepared, and their power was beyond understanding. One alien officer cried out that it was impossible, that no primitive world could create such weapons, but even as he spoke his ship exploded in a silent flash. The battle lasted less than 5 minutes. When it was over, the Zoreth fleet was gone, shattered wrecks floating in silence around Earth's orbit. Only one ship remained, disabled but alive. Its captain sent a final desperate message before retreating. His voice shook as he said, "We saw it. The human fleet is real. Do not come here. Do not test them." That message spread across the galaxy faster than any rumor. Now it was no longer whispers or fear. It was truth. Empires that once laughed at humans grew quiet. Leaders stared at their maps and wondered how many ships the humans truly had. Was it only one warship, or were there hundreds hidden in the shadows? No one knew, and that mystery was more terrifying than anything else. On Earth the humans remained silent, sending no boast, no declaration, only a quiet warning. We will defend ourselves. Do not bring war to our home. Their calm voice carried more weight than the roar of any empire. In the darkness of space, the wreckage of the Zoreth fleet drifted as a monument to arrogance, a reminder that underestimating humans was a mistake the galaxy could not afford again. And yet, deep in the heart of alien councils, new debates began. Some said to leave humans alone forever, never to risk another encounter. Others argued that if humans truly had such power, then they must be stopped before it was too late. And so, the galaxy was divided. Fear had become reality, and reality had become terror. The first encounter had ended in disaster for Zoreth, but for the galaxy it was only the beginning of something greater, something far more dangerous. For if one ship could destroy a fleet, then what else was waiting in the shadows of Earth? The answer was unknown, and the unknown was what the galaxy feared most. The galaxy could no longer deny the truth after the first encounter. The Zorith fleet had been destroyed in minutes, something no empire had ever witnessed from a species they once called primitive. Across the stars fear spread faster than light, and every council chamber echoed with the same question. How had humans done this, and how long had they been hiding such power? Rumors turned into desperate investigations, spies were sent, archives were searched, and hidden files were opened, but the more they searched, the stranger the story became. For centuries humans had played a clever game. They had shown the galaxy only what they wanted to show. They appeared divided, fighting among themselves, weak and unprepared. Their ships seemed small, their weapons outdated, their reach limited. But all of that was a mask, a carefully built illusion. The truth was that humanity had united long ago, not in the open, but in the shadows. After their first contact with aliens, they understood the danger of revealing their strength too soon. They saw how larger empires consumed weaker races, enslaving them or erasing them completely. So Earth made a decision. They would hide, pretend to be behind, while in secret they advanced faster than anyone expected. Beneath their oceans they built massive shipyards, crafting vessels that never appeared on alien scans. Inside their mountains they carved out entire bases where scientists worked day and night on technology that combined human creativity with stolen fragments of alien knowledge. The galaxy believed humans only discovered warp travel recently, but in truth, they had mastered it far earlier and improved it in ways no one else had imagined. Their ships could cloak perfectly, their shields bent light, and their weapons were silent but absolute. What frightened the galaxy even more was the revelation of human patience. For generations they had watched empires fight each other, and instead of joining or showing their hand, they waited. They studied every weakness, every tactic, every technology, and then they built answers to all of them. Where one empire used energy shields, humans built weapons that could cut through them. Where another relied on swarm fleets, humans developed gravity bombs that could crush thousands of ships at once. Piece by piece they prepared for every enemy without anyone noticing. Spies who managed to escape Earth's system brought back chilling evidence. One spoke of enormous stations hidden in the asteroid belt, filled with ships that never showed on scanners. Another described strange tests on the edge of the solar system, where entire moons seemed to vanish for minutes at a time. Most spies never returned, their last transmissions ending in static, but the fragments that survived painted the same picture. Humanity had never been weak, they had only been hiding. Across the galaxy panic began to take hold. Merchants feared to trade near Earth, soldiers refused to patrol human borders, and ordinary citizens whispered that humans might already be watching every world. In the Empire of Zorith, the humiliation of defeat burned deeply. Their leaders demanded answers, calling their admirals fools, but even they could not deny the evidence. The wreckage of their fleet still floated near Earth, untouched, as if left there as a warning. The survivors told the same story again and again. One human ship had destroyed them all. If one ship could do that, how many more did Earth have? 100? 1,000? No one knew, and that uncertainty became the sharpest weapon of all. Meanwhile on Earth the leaders spoke quietly among themselves. They did not celebrate their victory. They did not broadcast threats. Instead they simply reminded their people of the promise they had made long ago: humanity would never bow, and humanity would always survive. To the galaxy, this silence was more terrifying than words. A loud empire could be predicted, but a quiet one could not. Finally, a piece of the truth leaked into alien archives. It was an intercepted human message from decades ago, hidden deep in forgotten files. It spoke of a project called the Guardian Fleet, a united effort of all Earth nations to build a force that would protect their world from any outsider. The message was old, but it proved that the humans had been preparing for far longer than anyone realized. The revelation spread like fire, shaking every empire. Some now argued for peace, desperate to avoid war with a species that had outsmarted them all. Others whispered that humans must be destroyed before they revealed everything, for if they could hide a fleet, who knew what else they might be hiding? The galaxy was divided, trust collapsed, and fear grew heavier each day. In the end, one truth remained clear. Humanity was no longer a background race, no longer a weak species ignored by greater powers. They had revealed just enough to prove they were not prey but predators, not victims but guardians of their own fate. And as the galaxy stared toward the silent blue planet, every leader knew the same chilling fact: the secret of Earth was out, and nothing would ever be the same again. Fear spread like wildfire across the galaxy after the secret of Earth began to leak. The defeat of the Zorith fleet and the whispers of the Guardian fleet changed everything. For the first time in centuries, the great empires did not fear each other but a single small world at the edge of the stars. Markets shook, trade routes shifted, and rumors became louder than facts. Ordinary citizens whispered in their homes that humans could strike anywhere at any time. Soldiers began to lose their courage, afraid that every shadow in space might hide a human warship. Leaders gathered in councils, their voices full of panic and doubt. Some argued that they must seek peace with Earth at once, to offer treaties, gifts and alliances, but others shouted that humans were too dangerous to be allowed to grow stronger. Across every empire the same question echoed again and again: should they bow or should they strike? The empire of Zorith was humiliated and broken in pride. Their leaders demanded revenge, but their generals refused to send another fleet without knowing what they faced. They remembered how one ship had destroyed 12 war vessels in less than 5 minutes. What if humans had more than one? What if they had hundreds? No one could answer, and the silence was worse than the truth. Meanwhile, other empires watched carefully. The Vanar Dominion, known for its cunning spies, sent dozens of agents toward human space. Most never returned, and the few who did brought back only broken fragments of knowledge. Shadows of fleets moving near the asteroid belt, hidden stations beyond Pluto, and energy signatures so powerful that they burned through scanners. The spies said humans had weapons designed to counter every alien race. It meant that humans had studied all of them, one by one, and built answers to their strength. That thought made the empires tremble because it meant humans had not only been hiding but preparing for everyone. The galactic market collapsed as traders refused to travel near Earth. Ships went around entire sectors to avoid human borders. Smugglers who once boasted of fearlessness now whispered that even the void itself belonged to humans. For the first time in history, alien races feared a planet that had never conquered a single world. In secret meetings, some empires decided to reach out. They sent hidden messages toward Earth, offering peace, trade, and friendship. The humans replied only once with a calm message. It said, "We wish no war. But if you bring war to our home, we will not forgive." That single line spread across the stars like a sword against the throat of every empire. Humans had not threatened to conquer, yet their warning carried more weight than the armies of 1,000 worlds. In other halls of power, the decision went the other way. The Kraxus Empire, proud and cruel, declared that humans must be destroyed before their power grew beyond control. They gathered their fleets in secret, planning an invasion of Earth. Their leaders said fear must be crushed before it ruled the galaxy. But their admirals looked uneasy, for they remembered the wreckage of the Zorith fleet. Even so the orders stood: prepare the invasion, attack before it is too late. Across the galaxy the debate turned to chaos. Peace or war, surrender or strike, respect or destroy. No one could agree, and in that division humanity grew even more powerful without lifting a hand. In the lower colonies of alien empires, the ordinary people began to admire humans. They spoke of them as the only race that had survived without begging for mercy, the only race that had hidden its power until the right time. Stories spread among the young that maybe humans were not monsters but guardians, protectors who could finally stop the endless wars of the galaxy. To the rulers, such ideas were dangerous. They feared that if humanity became a symbol of strength, rebellions might rise in their own territories. So propaganda began to flow, telling citizens that humans were evil, deceivers, and tyrants. Yet the more they tried to paint humans as monsters, the more respect grew in secret hearts. The galaxy had reached a turning point. The fear of humans was now greater than the fear of any empire. Leaders stared at their star maps, thinking of strategies, but deep inside they knew the truth. If Earth was attacked, it would not be a war of conquest but a war of survival for the entire galaxy. And as the Kraxus fleets gathered in the shadows, preparing to march toward Earth, A single thought ran through every mind, a thought no one wanted to speak aloud but all could feel. What if the humans had been waiting for this moment all along? What if their true power had not yet been revealed? The silence of Earth was louder than any roar, and that silence kept the galaxy awake in terror. The galaxy held its breath as the Craxus Empire moved its massive fleet toward Earth. It was the largest force ever gathered in recent history, hundreds of warships including heavy cruisers, carriers, and dreadnoughts, all armed with the deadliest weapons their empire could build. The Craxus rulers believed that fear had already gone too far and that only a crushing strike could save their honor and restore balance. They told their soldiers that humans were liars, tricksters who used illusions to make themselves look stronger than they were. But deep inside, even the most loyal captains felt doubt, remembering the Zorath fleet that had vanished in minutes. Still the orders were clear and none dared to disobey. The fleet marched across the void like a dark storm, its banners of war shining in the light of distant suns. Across the galaxy billions watched in silence through hidden channels, waiting to see what would happen when the might of Craxus met the rumored power of Earth. On Earth itself the humans did not panic. The world looked calm, its cities alive with light, its people going on with their lives as if nothing was coming. But beneath the surface and in the shadows of the system, the Guardian fleet prepared. Cloaked ships awakened from their hiding places behind moons and asteroids. Bases hidden under oceans sent out silent signals. Massive stations near the edge of the solar system powered up weapons that no alien had ever seen. The human commanders spoke in calm voices, reminding their crews of the vow: Earth will not start war, but Earth will never fall. When the Craxus fleet finally entered human space, they sent a proud message, their admiral declaring that Earth must surrender or be destroyed. The humans replied with only 3 words: "Turn back now." The aliens laughed at such arrogance and ordered the attack. But the moment their weapons charged, the stars themselves seemed to shift. Out of the darkness dozens of human ships uncloaked, surrounding the fleet from every side. They were silent, black as shadows, moving with impossible speed. Before the Craxus could fire, the first wave of human weapons struck. Gravity bombs exploded in the center of their formation, crushing ships together as if the void had turned against them. Energy beams sliced through shields like they were paper. Missiles that bent space itself found their targets with perfect precision. The Craxus fleet answered with all their firepower, but their blasts struck against invisible barriers, shields that bent the laws of physics. Human ships weaved between attacks, striking one target at a time with cold precision. Within minutes, entire groups of alien vessels were reduced to burning wrecks. Yet the Craxus Empire was vast and their fleet was strong, and so the battle raged on, the void filled with fire and death. But as the fight continued, the humans revealed more. From the far side of Pluto, a colossal shadow moved into view, a ship so large it dwarfed even the alien dreadnoughts. It was the Earth Titan, the most powerful creation of the Guardian fleet. Its surface glowed with energy, its size like a moving city, its presence enough to make the galaxy tremble. The Craxus commanders screamed in disbelief, for nothing in their records had prepared them for such a ship. The Titan fired once and a Craxus carrier simply vanished, torn apart by a beam of pure energy that left no trace. Panic spread through the alien fleet. Orders collapsed, formations broke, and many ships turned to flee. But the humans did not chase, they only defended, destroying any vessel that continued the attack while letting those who retreated escape. This calm control terrified the galaxy even more. The Craxus had brought their greatest force and it was shattered in a single battle. The war they had hoped would prove human weakness had instead proved the opposite. Across the galaxy silence fell as the truth became impossible to deny. Humanity was not only powerful, they were prepared to fight against anyone, even the strongest empire, and win. The war of survival had ended not with Earth destroyed, but with Earth standing stronger than ever before. Yet the humans did not celebrate, they did not invade, and they did not conquer. Instead their message was sent once again across the stars: "We seek peace, but we will not kneel." That message echoed in the hearts of every empire, and fear turned into something greater, a mix of respect and terror. The galaxy now knew that if humanity could survive the largest invasion ever sent against them, then no one was safe from their power. The war of survival was over, but its shadow would change the galaxy forever. The galaxy was never the same after the fall of the Craxus fleet. News of their defeat spread faster than any ship could travel, carried by frightened survivors, broken transmissions, and silent wreckage drifting in the void. The greatest empire of the galaxy had brought its largest armada to Earth, and in less than a day it had been shattered. The message was clear to every world, every council, and every leader. Humanity could not be conquered. Humanity could not be underestimated. The blue planet that once looked weak and harmless was now the most feared world in the stars. In the days that followed, the galaxy entered a strange silence. The endless wars between empires slowed as rulers looked at their maps and thought of Earth. Trade ships rerouted their paths, smugglers whispered of shadows in the dark, and soldiers refused to march near the human border. Fear had become law, but it was not only fear. Among the younger races there was a growing respect, even admiration. For the first time in living memory, a species had defeated the mighty Craxus and survived not by conquest but by defense. They had not expanded, they had not enslaved, they had not demanded tribute. They had simply stood their ground and refused to fall. That quiet strength touched many hearts. Still, the great empires could not forget their pride. The Zorith and others gathered in their chambers to argue. Some wanted to strike again, to gather all fleets from all empires into one unstoppable force and crush Earth before it became the ruler of the galaxy. But others shook their heads, pointing to the wreckage of Craxus and reminding them that even unity might not be enough. No one knew how many ships humans truly had, no one knew what weapons still waited hidden in the shadows. If they could build the Titan, what else could they create? The fear of the unknown was stronger than the hunger for war. And so, one by one, empires changed their tone. Ambassadors were sent, their voices trembling, carrying words of peace. Some offered alliances, some offered trade, some even offered apologies. To their shock, the humans did not boast, they did not threaten, they did not take revenge. They simply answered with calm words. We do not seek to rule. We do not seek to conquer. But we will protect our home, and we will protect those who seek peace. Those words struck the galaxy deeper than any weapon. It showed that humanity had the power to rule but chose not to. It showed that they had the strength to destroy but chose to defend. And in that choice the galaxy saw something it had not seen before: hope. Among the colonies of weaker races, rebellion stirred, not against humans but against their own cruel rulers. They whispered that if Earth could stand against the greatest empire, then maybe they too could stand. Across the stars, humans became a symbol, both feared and respected. The galaxy now bowed not in ceremony but in silence, their pride broken by the truth that the race they once mocked was now the race they could not challenge. In the halls of Earth, the leaders looked at the stars and spoke softly to their people. They reminded them that the struggle was not over, that fear could turn back into war at any time. But they also said something new, something powerful. We are no longer alone. The galaxy knows our strength. We will not rule with fear, but we will never bow again. These words were sent across the stars, and in every empire, every council, and every home, they were heard. And so the legend of the human fleet was complete. The galaxy feared them, respected them, and bowed to their choice. Some bowed with hatred, some with respect, some with silent hope, but all bowed in one way or another. The humans had revealed their true power, and the galaxy would never forget. The last image that remained in the minds of countless beings was the sight of the Titan moving silently in the void, its dark hull glowing with quiet strength, a symbol that Earth had risen and that nothing would ever push it down again. The story was told and retold, until it was no longer rumor but history, a history that ended with one unshakable truth. The galaxy bowed to humanity, and humanity stood tall, guardians of their world, keepers of their strength, and the race that had changed everything forever.